Hello, everyone. Hi. Welcome back to Outspoken Saturdays here at the wonderful Boston Public Library at the Newsfeed Cafe. Make some noise. I am so happy to see you all here, and can I get a little commotion if you are happy to be back with us? Oh, that's how we're feeling? That's how we're feeling today? Okay. I know we're in a library, but we can be loud. This is the time that we can actually be loud. So we would like to hear high energy here. So can I get some snaps? Yes. Can I get some claps? Yes. Can I get a like you ate a good piece of chicken? Yeah. Can I get a yes? Y'all are on TV. I love that they just put you on the TV because you are also part of the program. I know you thought that just because we're on stage, you are not being seen, but you are. So make all of the noise. And I got one more cue point for you. Can I get it? Go off, poet! What happened? What's going on? Y'all need coffee? We have the Newsfeed Cafe. Can we get me a little louder in the mic? Because I don't think that they can hear me all the way up top over there. Because I'm giving y'all instructions. Ooh, there it is. I'm giving y'all instructions and y'all are not doing it. So can I get a go off, poet? I love to hear it. For anyone who is new here, welcome to Outspoken Saturdays. This is a curated poetry show designed for poets to speak their truth, share their story, and celebrate what really matters to you. And yes, in case you did not know, that is our GBH slogan. But before we jump into the poet performances this month, we want to use this space to anticipate an event that will take place on May 29th. In Boston, called Hellablack Vol.8 Jenelyse. Now, in its 8th year, Hellablack continues to be a vital space for the Black community to gather, create, and celebrate the full spectrum of Blackness through dance, music, and spoken word. This year, the event's main theme will be rebirth and becoming Genesis. What does that mean to begin again in moments of personal, artistic, and collective change? And to help us find new ways of understanding this question, we are joined here by two panelists. To my right, please give it up for Michaila Cowie! And also give it up to Alanna Logan! But wait, there's bios. Michaila Cowie is the director of the theater arts at Boston Center of the Arts, where she oversees venue rentals and key residency programs like Launchpad and the Hellablack series. A member of the Actors Equity Association. Yes, we love to hear it, all the noise. A member of the Actors Equity Association, Michaila brings over a decade of experience as a stage manager and consultant for leading companies, including the Huntington Theater and the Front Porch Arts Collective. She has mentored and supported over 65 individual artists and 50 arts organizations across the Boston creative landscape. Make some noise for Michaila. Are we good? Can we make some noise for Michaila? Secondly, but equally as important, please join me for a round of applause for Alanna Logan. 10s across the board. These are my friends in real life, so we're going to kiki on live TV. Okay, with that being said, Alanna, also known as Alanna Pops, is a Cambridge-born movement artist and choreographer with over 25 years of training across ballet, contemporary, and street styles. A powerhouse in both commercial and battle culture, she's toured internationally with The Weeknd, performed with icons like Beyonce, Ariana Grande, and Lil Nas X. Okay, some noise. Also, Alanna just won the Red Bull dance competition as well. She was number 1. What? Oh, you were a finalist? Girl, you won in my eyes. You a winner. Anyways, behind the scenes, behind the scenes, she served as an associate choreographer at the Huntington Theater. Alanna is also this year's first co-associate curator for Hellablack, stepping into this leadership role after participating as an artist in last year's event. Please give it up one more time for Michaila and Alanna. Okay, my fun part. Hi, guys. Hey. Hello. Can we turn her up in the microphone, Alanna's microphone, because we want to make sure that we hear them nice and loud. Hello. Let me stop talking. Go ahead.
Is this thing on? No. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Hello.
Keep doing it. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
1 2.
Perfect.
Hello.
Okay, we can hear you now. Hi.
Hi.
First and foremost, thank you for being on the program. I love both of you, adore both of you. How excited are y'all to be on Hellablack Vol.8 of this year? What does it feel like? Anybody can answer.
I'm so excited. This program has been a part of the BCA since 2019, and it has really grown over the last few years. And I'm just excited to be back in the historic cyclorama, amplifying these voices. And it's free. So that's a really great thing. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I'm just really looking forward to it.
I'm excited to be back because it's year 2 for me. So yeah, I mean, it's beautiful to see how Hellablack is really pivotal in a lot of people's careers. Every artist that it touches and every person that comes to attend is really, really pivotal. So I'm excited to see how we do that this year.
Well, Alanna, I'm going to keep it on you since you were the last person to answer. What was your experience as being an artist at Hellablack Volume 7 last year and now being in a co-curator role this year? What is the vast differences? And what was your highlight last year?
So my piece last year had everything to do with my dance journey. It's just everything that I had kind of went through. I brought back old video clips of, me and my old teachers, my mom, things like that. And so from that standpoint, it was nice to be able to be supported by you guys, right? My team, to be able to figure out how to make a production, right? Like, how do we go about building this 10-minute piece, making it and having it be cohesive with, the space, the projection, the music, the rest of the production team, the lighting, and things like that. So coming from the artist role, it's very much about yourself, right? And thinking about what the rest of the audience is going to feel about your own performance. And I think now with changing roles and being associate curator, now I'm looking at everybody else's, right? I'm looking at everyone else's piece, right? How is that? Thinking from the audience standpoint, saying how are you going to make your piece feel immersive for me, right, as the audience, and being able to support, what that looks like and the process of that. I'm very happy to be in the space of knowing that it came from the artist role and knowing the work that went into that, how to break all of the things down and, time the lighting and what kind of lighting we can use and things like that to be able to help the artists this time with building theirs.
I love that answer. One of the best performances of last year for me was you. I felt like because Hellablack takes you on a journey of your career, not only that, but this is a moment for artists to really take apart a piece of theirs or pieces and tell a story through a visual storytelling avenue. Michaila, for you, we are really friends in real life. And when you look at me like that, she's like, girl, don't ask me nothing that's not on that piece of paper. This year is Hellablack's first ever youth edition. How do you encourage young artists to honor who they are becoming without rushing or comparing themselves to others?
That's a heavy question. I feel like one of the first and foremost, you just have to encourage them to be themselves, no matter what the outside says, no matter what anybody else says, but whatever you feel in your soul, in your body, be that. I think in today's culture with social media and, whatever, there's a innate feeling of wanting to compare yourself to other people and say like, oh, that person's doing this, or oh, that person looks like this, but just know that God created you in the way that you're supposed to be, and you are the person who you are meant to be, and use that and amplify that and be who you are and shine through, because if you are who you are, nobody can be you better. So yeah.
Y'all can snap and clap when you hear something that resonates. It's quite all right. This was not intended to be a quiet space at all. Make all of the noise. In fact, I encourage it because this is the only time we can make all the noise. You're doing great. You're doing amazing. I can hear you. I got mom's ears. Hellablack exists as a safe space for celebrating the many intersections of Blackness. Why is that safety essential for artistic risk and also reinvention? I can start you off before you answer the question. I think, I got y'all. I'm going to ease y'all into ease on down the road. I believe Hellablack for me, as one of the curators who's been a curator of the program for the last 3 years, this is my last year. But I think it's really important for us to have safe spaces, and also for artists to be able to take risks in a space like Hellablack, because I feel like there are a lot of spaces that are not really meant for us to be in. And then on top of that, I feel like now we are creating our own spaces with our own intention and what that looks like for us. So I think, especially I know with Hellablack, people are able, there is no contention. There is no, what's the word, censoring. There is no limitation to dream within inside of your art. You can literally go up there and do whatever you want, however you want. And we also have a poet that's going to be taking the stage later on in the program, who was also Hellablack's Volume 7 performer. His name is Rafael Arturo Shabazz. So you'll be hearing some of his poetry a little later on in the program. But I think it's important for us to take risks, because there's not a lot of spaces that are designed for us to take those risks safely.
Yeah, I think the program was started in 2019. Shout out to Lindsay Allen Cox, to create a space. To create a space for these artists to feel safe, and for the audience to come into the space. And this isn't for, like, with all respect, this isn't for the audience. This is for the artist to tell their story, to have people hear their voices. And I think, although the program has grown from, being in the Mills Gallery at the BCA with a capacity of 50 people to the Cyclorama with a capacity of 500 people, it's that mission still holds true, that this is meant to create a space for Black artistry and Black voices to be heard, to be seen, to be felt, to be safe, and to be held. And that's why it's also really important that it's curated by Black artists, because they know what that feels like, and they know how to nurture those artists to be able to feel comfortable and confident enough to get on that stage, no matter who's in the audience.
Good answer. Do you want to add on to that, Alanna?
I feel like everything was
But also, just to add in, even you as not just a dancer and a choreographer, but also someone who practices ASL interpretation, how important do you think it is for artists, not just in Hellablack, but just in general, to take these risky artistic endeavors?
I think life is about risk, right? The scariest parts, but the most liberating parts of our lives they involve risk, and they involve big risk. They involve feeling uncomfortable, taking the moment to just, internalize that and say, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it. Because I think that your biggest reward is on the other side of feeling uncomfortable. I think Hellablack does a really beautiful job with helping to support that uncomfortability of stepping into that, right? Just being young and being an artist, myself being Black, being a woman, just knowing that, there's, in the world, we are constantly limited, right? We're limited, and our voices are never uplifted, or they're never, they're never celebrated or taken into consideration. It's really important to just be in a space, to say, this is okay, and it's my truth, and because it is your truth, it's vital to share it, because it's going to resonate with somebody, so yeah.
I love what you said as far as like our voices are not uplifted or amplified enough, because as we can see, Voters' Writers Act, affirmative action, DEI, so many things that we are being rolled back. Now we've been dealing with banned books, but also banned poetry as well. There in Poetry Out Loud, there's a lot of poets that are being banned from the selections of where youth can use their poetry to memorize and recite. I think it's important for places like Hellablack because it reminds us that we are not monoliths, but at the same time that it is really important for us to ensure that our history is told and our stories are as well, especially with the digital archiving side of that, right? Because at Hellablack, we see a lot of film. The whole entire series is filmed from top to bottom. Even their introductions are filmed. I think it breaks the wall of having like a general host of a show to have the artists actually introduce themselves and show themselves in a light that they might have never seen. With that being said, how do events like Hellablack create a bridge between past, present, and future Black creativity? And I already kind of answered that in my question, right? Because we see a lot of our Black art being erased or not credited, right? So what do you think it is, or what it means for Hellablack to be able to create that connection and that bridge to the past, to the present, and the future?
I think one of the first things that comes to mind is legacy. As I said earlier, the program was created in 2019, and I think there's been so many people who have fought to keep this program alive and around that in itself is that bridge. It's the community, it's the artists, it's the staff behind the scenes trying to make this, the best it can be. And I think without those folks, without the community, like really, really uplifting this program, who knows, right? And I think that's really important to highlight, that it's not, yes, you see 7 to 9 artists performing, but there's still so many other people around that are involved in it and uplifting it. And I think that's an important part to bridge that gap as well. Yeah.
When I think about past, present, and future, because this, we did our interview about it.
Yes, we did.
One of the things that I think about, especially for art and the way that we create legacy, right, is just to making sure that we are passing the torch. Just like anything that we have generational wealth, we always have to continue to pass on the torch, just because somebody else will have to build from the ground up. And we know how daunting that is. We know how much of a burden that is to be able to say, let me just rebuild this thing. Let me rebuild this structure from, the ground. Let me build this foundation. And so it's really, really important. And it's a beautiful thing that Hellablack is so revolved around passing the torch and just seeing this in real time and having the torch be passed on to me, right? It's like one of those things where it's like, everything about this is about, one, it's respect, right? Knowing to respect who came before you, what was built before you, all of the trials and triumphs and tribulations and all of the things that went on before you, to make sure that now you can respect the space that you're going to take now, and knowing that the people after you are going to have to respect you in the same kind of way. And as artists in Boston and in the city, we know that we're fighting for everything. We're fighting for space. We're fighting for, rehearsal space. We're fighting for, agency, and we're fighting. And that's just, unfortunately, that's what we have to go through as artists. But that's, how we learn to love the thing. We fight for what we love. But, it's really about, passing on the torch and just knowing that, you have to respect the people that came before you and all of the things that they had to go through in order to build this up so you can carry this on.
I'm like, are y'all listening out there? Because they dropping gems. I could talk to y'all all day, and we usually do in our group chat. But I have one more question for y'all. I have one more question for y'all before we conclude. Thank you so much for naming the fact that it's important to carry the torch. I'm hearing legacy. I'm also hearing risk-taking. So these are all words that I hope you all are taking with you when you're thinking about joining us on May 29th. And I hope it's no longer a thought. I hope it's an action, because it is free 99 this year. It was last year as well, due to a grant from the city of Boston, the MOAC department. Look at me, like I know what's going on. Girl, you should. You better. If the artists and the audience leave tonight remembering one thing about beginnings or becoming of said Black community, what do you hope that is tonight to leave them with? Or I should say this afternoon to leave them with. I mean, it's going to be tonight by the time this program's over.
Can you reiterate your question?
Yes, I can rephrase if you'd like. Okay, cool. If there's one thing that you would like folks to leave with tonight regarding Hellablack Vol.8, what would that one thing be, and what would you hope it to be? I'm going to take it on first, because I'm going to give my good sis. I first and foremost think leaving here today, the one thing that you should know about Hellablack Vol.8 is it is the future generation. We just asked the question of past, present, and future and how it connects. With Lindsay Allen Cox birthing this series back in 2019 to now being in 2026, for anything of longevity to withstand is really difficult, especially in the socio-economic, political climate that we are in. So I think first and foremost, it's important to show up. And I also think it's really important for the young folks to not only be able to be that representation, but to also for us to see ourselves in them. I think as adults, we sometimes forget what our childlike behavior used to be and our inner selves, because we've been bogged down with the mundane tasks of what life is. We all hear life be lifing. But at the end of the day, like, if you remember what you used to be like, the ways in which that you used to dream, the ways in which that you used to use creativity and be able to escape into your imagination, that is sometimes saving people's lives. Not only your own, but others, while being able to channel and alchemize all of that energy into a piece of art that can be created for the public. So I think that is one thing that I want to leave you all here about Hellablack Vol.8 today, is learning how to lean into your inner childhood while also watching these babies really give themselves in all of the ways that they can, and really be there to support their evolution, because they are the future.
It's not like she's been carried in this for the last
Right. I'm like, she's good at this, I'm like, skilled.
We're all good at this. I'm just asking you all to talk. Just speak from the hot. The hot.
Okay. Just to piggyback off of what you said, something to take away is change starts with them. Change starts with you. Show up, right? You got to be there. You got to be there. You have to see it. You have to see our world change. You have to see, our students and our youth, evolve and start that story. It's really important to be there from when it begins. So just knowing that, you even being present changes the trajectory of everything, right? Being present is vital. So knowing change starts with you and change starts with them. They are starting something new. So just knowing that, your support just for them to be able to speak is beautiful and it's vital. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
I mean, I just want to, clap for that. I just want to echo everything Amanda and Alanna have already said, but I think the most important thing is these artists are putting their their soul into their work and opening up and being so vulnerable. And I think they're doing that to also teach the community how to do that. And I think that the only way that that's possible is for people to show up, right? Showing up doesn't mean, one, this is free, so you don't have to pay a dime to be there. But to support someone means to show up, right? And that doesn't, you can walk in, you can be there, you can be yourself, you can show up how you want, you can show up how you are, because that's how the artists are also showing up. And I think that, as they both said, this generation is the future, and every other generation has wanted support in the way that they also deserve the support. And I think that we have to remember, as, quote unquote adults and older artists, quote unquote, we're not that old, but you know what I mean?
I was gonna say, because I'm the biggest kid.
We wanted people to show up for us, so we should also do the same for them. They deserve it. They've been working hard. And I just think that community is so, so, so important in these times, and we have to show that these, artists are being held up by the community around them, and we hope to see you there.
And on that note, thank you both for being on the program. Give it up one more time for Alanna Logan and Michaila Cowie. And one more time, because we're going to do a whole bunch of shameless plugs. May 29th, lock it into your calendar right now.
7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m.
It's free.
It's free 99. You do not have to pay anything, and we're going to have some really cool vendors, some food and some snacks for you all to be able to nourish your body, mind, and spirits with these amazing lineup of youth artists this year. Thank you so much for being on the program, y'all.
Thank you,
Thank
Amanda.
you.
Y'all gonna be in the group chat later in a second, being like, girl. I love y'all. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick pause for the cause while we switch our set really quick to get ready for our poets. But do not go anywhere, because we have 6 incredible performances coming up of the poet community here. And we also have someone who's hailing all the way from Texas, Houston, Texas, who's gonna be joining us as well. This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold'em. So move these chairs around, round. I'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Thank you so much. Welcome back, everybody. How are we feeling? How are we doing? Not to say that wasn't my favorite part of the show, but this is my favorite part of the show, where I get to hear all of the poetry, because I am a poetry lover. Now, for those who do not know, I am an artist, and like Erykah Badu said, I'm sensitive about my art, okay? So this is the part of the show that I need all that energy high, okay? So we're gonna test you out real quick before I bring up our first poet. Is that cool? Yeah. Cool. Remember, you're a part of the audience as well, and the camera will be seeing you. So make a big smile for your mamas and your daddies and your grandbabies, okay? With that being said, can I get some snaps? Can I get some claps? That's as loud as your hands can go. Give me a clap, round of applause. Can I get a Yeah, I like that. Can I get a go off, poet? Go off, poet. And with that being said, are y'all ready to get into the artist performance of today? Yes. Are you ready to get into the artist portion of today? Woo! Let us first welcome our first poet to the stage, Xan Margolis.
I got it. Yeah. Thank you. Hi, I am Xan Margolis, a poet from New Hampshire, and this is my poem, Lemon Cookies. It's about my grandmother and the beautiful love she gave me as a child. In her speckled linoleum kitchen, my grandmother is mixing sugar with citrus, kneading lemon cookies just for me. And she's singing Sinatra, my kind of town, Chicago is, jumping an octave at the end, just like Pop did. In the living room, Mel Brooks sells me Spaceballs the Flamethrower as my laughter breaks between sips of Dr. Pepper. My few moments of bliss every Friday, one of my parents handing me off before the court appearances to determine who gets the assets. The timer goes off. I can hear her hand fiddling to find a toothpick to poke the middle one with, then returning the sheet back in. She sighs, twisting the timer another 15 minutes. Thank you. Oh, you can find me on Instagram, XM Poetics. Very simple. Thank you.
Y'all give it up one more time for Xan Margolis. Our next poet to the stage, I need big energy. Please give it up for Gawaine Ross.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Yes, hello, world. I'm a Boston native and a founding member of the Trident Poetry Collective, which meets every Sunday at Trident Bookstore and Cafe, which is on Newbury Street right next to Mass Ave. The open mic starts at 7. It's a very warm environment. I encourage everybody to go there. I'm a published poet. My chapbook is here. I also have I used to be in a rock and roll band, so my songs are in here as well. I have 2 novels on Kindle. One is a Civil War novel called The Taste of Agony, and the other is a fantasy sci-fi novel called Rebels and Witches. I made a screenplay out of that and submitted it to the Berlin International Film Festival, and I ranked as a finalist. Thank you. Thank you. So my first poem is called Moosehead Lake. This is a giant lake in Maine. The lake told me to come on in, said, put your kayak in my water and paddle out to crimson trees, bowing in October winds. Yesterday, a thunderstorm rushed new streamlets into life. Drink my water and live again, ever clean, ever pure, home to all amphibians, wisely croaking all night long. An egret stands with 1 foot raised. Ask beavers a thing or two about easy living beneath the ice. All these trees are older than me. Hail and sleet just make them stronger. Sit on a ledge and watch the river crash on the boulders far below. I recall living in cashew trees, swinging gaily from branch to branch, waving my tail most saucily, free of rent and nasty lords. Meteors streak across the sky. I want to live my life in awe. Kaleidoscope patterns spring into life. That's that one. The next one is called Dominica. That's the island in the Caribbean. I've never been there, but looks like it's a great place to go visit. We share melons and papayas beneath the sun benevolent, a salty breeze. The river is cool. The passion flower blossoms are fragile but rich. We stroke their fragrance and sip intoxication and slip a little further, and I find myself afraid of love. Papaya trees are many-breasted. The flesh of mango is exquisite. My restlessness is like the surf seeking coral lagoons. You speak in certitudes. I dream of them. Beyond the coconut shining in your eyes, I see gazelles outrunning lions. You laugh. I recall November sleet. Your stainlessness and artless joviality are in contrast to my lechery. In honor of your being, I play Schumann on the flute. You respond with a noble clarinet, royal and so voluptuous. You think love means saying yes. I think love means bleeding. You say, that's a grim thought. I say, life is grief. We are divided by that which attracts us, even as you speak of trust. I see the void behind the stars. You speak of freedom, possibilities, and taking risks. But I've been to prison. Saturn's bound me with leaden rings. The acid rain has stained my face. We lay our cards out on the purple silk. Today, they say I am the hanged man. Are you the queen of swords, or the priestess holding 9 bright cups of Dionysian wine? You smile and ask, where, oh, where is the void in ecstasy? We strip and go against the current. The water here is swift and cold. The sunlight revels on your scintillating backside. I drink the water that has caressed your thighs. You shriek, the monkeys leap, and I wrestle with the jaguar. You summon me to join you high up on the rocks where the moss is a foot thick. I manage half a chilly laugh and watch you diving into pools. We gather peonies, dahlias, and zinnias and weave them into garlands. And in the falls, we linger in the timeless spray. Thank you.
Y'all give it up one more time for Gawaine Ross. Keep that applause going for our next Outspoken Saturday poet, Jenelyse.
That should be fine. Okay, that's good enough? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jenelyse. I'm an artist, a poet, and a Roxbury native, most of all. So I'm gonna begin the first piece where I depict myself as a museum. I am the gallery, a collection of art, with every room holding a version of me, in light and in dark. I am the museum of all of my experiences, with life lessons displayed on the walls for wandering eyes to study along. Pieces of me scattered, yet in unison. I open my doors for visitors that have came and went. Still I remain the artful gem they admire in an observer of my own. They form a perception, but do they view the full scope? What remains within these walls is a core unshaken, a limited edition, not intended for replication. Just a work of art with a profound message. It's deeper than beauty, and I find solace knowing I leave everlasting impressions. Thank you all. My second piece, I highlight self-sufficiency, and it's called The Blueprint. I'm exactly who I think I am, down to the roots. I acknowledge both the failure and fruits of my labor. Living in my truths is what sets me loose. I'm exactly who you think I am, in touch but aloof, because my autonomy precedes everything. Learning to love all that exists without being confined is freedom's gift. I'm exactly who I think I am, because self-governance is key, with confidence, accountability, and humility. Everything the world needs more of exists in me. I don't think, I know who I am. The blueprint, not a program. Thank you all. You can find me on Instagram, Divine Gems, that's D-I-V-I-N-E, J as in my first name, Jenelyse, E-M-Z as in zebra. I'm also a host at the Duet Center for an interactive art workshop, hosted every Thursday at 5:45, and you're more than welcome to join me. Thank you all.
Jenelyse. Y'all give it up one more time for Jenelyse. Up next. Are y'all having a good time? Say yeah, yeah. I said say yeah, yeah. I love how you said woo. If y'all having a good time, say yeah, yeah. That's what y'all want to give the viewers at home when they see us on TV. That's what y'all want to give. That's the energy. That's all the energy y'all want to give. Y'all don't want to give no more energy than that, because we have a whole bunch of more performers that are coming up to the stage, and we need all of the energy this afternoon. Look at my face. That is insane. Y'all, how we feeling? We enjoying the program? Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's more like it. Up next, please put your hands together for our next Outspoken Saturday performer, hailing all the way from Houston, Texas. Please give it up for Fanta Ballo!
Okay, perfect. All right, hello everyone. My name is Fanta Ballo. Don't mind my voice. I do not always sound like this. I'm a spoken word artist from Harlem, New York, Houston living. I'm currently on tour right now, and I'm going to do 2 poems. Yeah.
Did you say on tour?
Yeah, I'm currently on tour right now. And I'll be back for my official tour in September. So hey, let me introduce you to my anxiety. She doesn't speak. She smiles a lot. She words over her trip. She trips over her words. She's the life of the party until she's done with the party. You can literally see her social battery drain. I promise I'm not upset with you. My spirit is just tired of pretending to be happy, to be interested, of wondering what everyone else thinks of me. Being trapped with a wandering mind and a sensitive heart allows your nervous system to be the battlefield for overthinking, and I overthink everything. Like the one time the waitress told me to enjoy my food and I said, you too. Or the time I got on stage and forgot half my poem, the people clapped. I spent the next few days reassuring myself that the cheers weren't out of pity. I have this syndrome that makes me feel like an imposter because sometimes I just don't feel good enough. Like the praise don't feel worthy of my name, and living feels like an out-of-body experience. Sometimes the reflection in the mirror looks more like a foreign or enemy territory. I have no business here. Most times, I get so lost in myself, I forget to find my way back home. Most days, I am searching for the woman who turned her pain into poetry and allowed the ink to bleed blue through her veins. The woman who was saved by this stage. The woman who was so sure of herself before her brain tricked her into believing that she was an imposter in her own body. This syndrome has kept so many dreams restrained in cages built by uncertainty. I don't recognize who I am anymore. I have a trophy case full of accolades that I don't feel worthy of, a certificate of achievement that don't quite really fit me, so I've been writing these poems in hopes to find my way back home. And sometimes it feels like a never-ending battle with my brain, trying to rewire the way I think to convince myself that I am already worthy. My anxiety keeps my therapist's bills paid, keeps me extra humble, keeps me guarded in times when I only want to give. My anxiety is the reason I write these poems, because there was a time these poems were all I had. So I've been writing these poems in hopes they turn scripture enough that I can pray myself whole again, or just propped up enough that my anxiety doesn't take up any more space in my own trophy case. Thank you. And this next poem is titled One Day I'll Love Fanta Ballo, that I'll be reading directly from my book, For All the Things I Never Got to Say. One day I'll be able to sing my praise so loud that they'll always remember my name and never forget my face. I'll leave an imprint. My journey to this moment has been long, but I've enjoyed the distance. I've loved and lost people every time I grieve different. Born a black body in a white world, so I'm not ignorant to the fact that I'm perceived different. One day, I'll love my gentle heart. I'll accept that I live with my heart on my sleeve, and no matter how much I try, I care. I leave every situation a little less full because I give. I give sometimes more than I can afford, but I do it because that's all I ever wanted. One day, I love the crooked smile. Mama never had braces money to fix. I love the way I awkwardly laugh when I'm nervous or didn't hear you speak but too anxious to ask you to repeat. I smile. And for a while, that's what got me through, masking my pain. With metaphors, I fell in love with the pen. Found a home in my journal, and that's how this journey began one day. I find the courage to put the pen down and actually say everything I wanted to say but never got to. Let this book be my anchor and stepping stone of faith someday. I'll love Fanta Ballo and everything she's got to say. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. If you would like to hear more of my work, you can find me on my website, fantaballo.com. That's FANTABALLO. And all social media at Fanta Ratty. That's FANTARATTY. Thank you and goodbye.
Y'all, give it up one more time for Fanta Ballo. These poems got me in my feelings. They got you in your feelings? Yeah. We got more. Wait, but there's more. We are almost at the spot of the program that makes me a little saddened. Can I get a collective aww? We only have 2 more Outspoken Saturday poets of this afternoon, but you can catch us back here on June 13th, little shameless plug, for our June Outspoken Saturdays. And if you have been inspired and you are an artist, you are a poet, please sign up right at that table, right where you see my cute little picture at. It's a little purple table with this beautiful woman who is wearing yellow. Right next to her. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, there it is. I was waiting for her. I was like, I knew she was going to point. So you or your friends can sign up to be on our next Outspoken Saturday program. With that being said, are we ready to get back into our next poet? Please put your hands together for Rafael Arturo Shabazz.
Mic check, can y'all hear me? Yes, really good actually. Cool. So I wrote this poem. It's called, Of Course. There was a woman that I was seeing at the time, and she was curious about my writing process. And she asked me this question. She said, do words just come out of the walls? And so this poem is in response to that question. Yes, in fact, they do. Words come to me like a breeze. What I do with them is organize my feelings, placing puzzle pieces precisely in place, unlocking the vault to where my heart is safe, wrapped in the memories and band-aids of vulnerability. Like the moon, this intensity stands tall, beautiful, and full. Endurance stands. I'm becoming fluent in your newness, ma'am. Every urge I get, I purge and redirect to my blue lines and pen. So much so the walls in my room flip pages in my sleep. Ain't no sweat, I get it. But just because I flourished without your presence doesn't mean I wasn't thriving with it, I was vibing with it. Can't lose myself in love when it took me so long to find him. I feel like you the type to fuel his dreams while making your own moves. Not longing in suffocation of temptation, I grew them scales to jump over ships and sail. Only time will tell. I know it's frail. You know me, you know it's me. How could we? Why will we slow roast, toast, smoke candle, burn incense? Real, recognize real in an instant. I want to be your favorite guest like Buddy Norman so we can cheers to yesterday and a new tomorrow morning. Electrified by these border fences, for feeling tempted, for feeling close, for feeling genuine, fulfilling my heart's checklist. Ignorant brothers Stubborn brothers, smart with heads bigger than their shoulders. My charm is not leading these innovations of communication, I promise. To a misunderstanding, I want to jump in a pool with piranhas. You said, be easier on yourself. How could I not glue these reminders? And then you, and then you asked me, do words just come out of the walls for you? Yes. Yes, in fact, they do. Thank you. My name is Rafael Arturo Shabazz. I'm an Afro-Latino poet, born and raised in the city of Boston, Dorchester native. You can find me on Instagram, Rafael 2_ Arturo 2_. Yes, thank you. Shout out to Amanda Shea. Shout out to the Greater Boston Hub, and shout out to BPL. Thank you.
Y'all give it up one more time for Rafael Arturo Shabazz. We are at our last poet of this afternoon, but I am very honored to be closing out May with all of these phenomenal poets, and also to our two panelists, Michaila and Alanna. I see some tears in the crowd, and I love that for us. With that being said, please give all your energy, the last energy that you got of this afternoon, to our last but certainly not least Outspoken Saturday poet of this afternoon, original Poetree.
Hi. Good. How you doing?
You look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna take this off.
Hey, how's everybody doing? All right. My name is Original Poetree. I'm a Boston native, poet, content creator, and going to be sharing my poem called A Poem Without a Home. This poetry piece will be unbridled because realness does not require a title. Every time I set foot in the outside world, I encounter a chaotic society, energy unfurled. Everywhere I look, I see homeless sleeping in the streets, out in the open, out in the cold, inside train stations, vulnerable, exposed like bare feet of the young and old. Where night meets morning, each doorway holds a story, untold, behind cardboard walls. Where dreams curl up like yesterday's paper, scattered in indifferent winds. Where does the heart go when the subway grates become blankets and the park benches bedroom walls? They say home is where the heart is, but hell on earth is where the heart lived in the past tense. No point in continuing to share my story to those who never lived it, because the truth is really they'll never comprehend it. I did my best to reach out to the advocates who outreach, but unfortunately my request fell on deaf ears, which are the same ears that claim in their company organization's mission statement are open to the cries of those who are in need. I guess I did not cry loud enough, because living on the street does not equate to the so-called American dream, a so-called dream that requires you to be asleep to believe. If only they knew how many of us wish to achieve, but were told somewhere in the timeline of our lives we will never succeed. So the only path visible became homelessness and living on the street. Never mind sleep, eyes wide open, unaware of the shadows at night that creep. For every night that passes has become restless. I've been exhausted beyond measure, and I changed my identity to breathless. Sleep comes in fragments, broken by sirens and sidewalk symphonies, while anxiety builds empires in the shadows of skyscrapers. Depression wears the face of every passerby who won't meet my eyes, as if poverty were contagious. But I remember morning coffee, tea, bagels, and pastries, turning in locks with keys, the weight of my mail in my hands. I remember being somebody's neighbor, somebody's colleague, somebody. Yet still I breathe, grateful, still I am, still I dream, beneath these layers of invisible and forgotten, waiting for someone to see the past, the cardboard signs, to the person drowning in the ocean of everywhere and nowhere at all. My next poetry piece is called... Thank you. Thank you. My next poetry piece is called Still Here. They say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but nobody mentions how they took my boots 3 winters ago. How the straps were cut by the very hands that built the trap. See, homelessness isn't a moment, it's a system. A maze designed without exits, where every door requires an address to get an address. I am a mathematician of survival. I calculate the warmth per hour of library visits, measure the distance between suspicion and eyes, and the 7-block walk to the shelter that locks its doors at 5 p.m. For people whose interviews are scheduled at 5:30, you want to know what the trap looks like? It looks like applications asking for 3 references when everyone you know stopped answering. A bank account that needs $50 minimum when you've got only 47. Times 12 the ghost you're becoming in the mirror of storefront windows. The trap is a masterpiece of small print and locked doors, of sorry you don't qualify, and come back when you've already saved, come back when you don't need us anymore, come back when you're not the problem you've become in our paperwork. But let me tell you about survival. Survival is knowing which dumpsters to get service, when befriending the cook at the diner who saves you the burnt edges, when you're 27 cents away from a train ticket to maybe, when your library card is held like a passport to dignity, and that every public space kicks you out for the crime of existing. Survival is the woman who shares her lighter, the human act of kindness to make your day brighter, the man who doesn't steal your shoes while you're asleep, the kid who calls you sir instead of hey you, the tiny republic of discarded peoples who remember each other's names in their world that's made you all invisible. I've memorized the invisible architecture of overpasses that don't get swept in churches, that actually open versus the ones with signs, the gap between public and private that I lived in. The thin ceremony of not being seen so you can stay. You walk past me with your coffee, your thoughts already 3 meetings ahead. And I am Houdini in reverse. Watch me disappear while standing right in front of you. Watch me become a statistic, a policy debate, a problem to be solved by people who never missed a meal they didn't choose to miss. But I'm still here breathing. I'm still here writing poems in my head because they can't repo my mind. Counting stars instead of sheep because the sky's the only roof that ever been free. Holding on to the truth that is the trap wasn't built by accident, that someone profits from the door that won't open, that survival itself is resistance and a system designed to make me disappear. So when you ask me what I need, don't hand me change like a false promise. I need you to see the architecture beneath the societal tarnish. I need you to see the trap. I need you to understand that every person you step over is a choice your city made, that my homelessness isn't someone else's policy, that your comfort was built on blueprints of my erasure. Thank you. You can find me on Instagram. You can find my merch and my poetry books on Instagram at original_poetry. That's original_poetry spelled Poetree, like tree. Thank you.
Y'all, give it up one more time for original poetry. Also give it up for all of the poets of this afternoon. I'm gonna bring them up momentarily. I was like, I don't want the music staying in my shot. With that being said, are we feeling good? We feeling great? How we feeling? Can I get a yeah, yeah? Remember, y'all are on TV, and every time I tell y'all to do an action, do you notice how they be putting the camera on your face? If you're feeling good and you had a great time, say yeah! Yeah! With that being said, I already told y'all this, but I want to say it one more time. I want to thank you all for sharing your poetry, your heart, your arts, and being super vulnerable on our GBH stage. So thank you so much. We'll be back June 13th for our June edition of Outspoken Saturdays. With that being said, if you are interested in performing, come see me or come see Juan Jose at the table and sign up. Again, there is a submission link that will be sent to your email so that you can submit your poetry. Before we go, I want to thank everybody that makes this possible because there is a team and it's mighty hefty and this lift is not always easy. So before we go, please give a round of applause for the Boston Public Library. Also give a round of applause to the Newsfeed Cafe for feeding us and nourishing us with all their beautiful bevs. I love saying bevs. Also, can I get a round of applause for our wonderful GBH crew? First of all, Bradley! Where you at? You gotta come from the back. That's what Maddie does. Come from the back and wave to the good people. Hey! I love putting people on the spot. Give it up for Juan Jose Cadena Dueñas. Olivia Corsero. Hannah Thomas. Lauren Herbert. And last but certainly not least, Sandra Lopez Burke. So audience, this is your time to shine. I am going to call up all of my beautiful poets of this afternoon. Oh, 3:13. I'm going to call up all of our beautiful poets of this afternoon. Now is the time to take a photo with all of us on this stage, and I'm also going to invite up our panelists as well. If y'all do not know, my name is Amanda Shea. I am so happy and honored to be hosting and curating this program every first Saturday of the month except for May and June. And we will be back June 13th. Everybody, I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon, and we'll see you next month. Bye.